All right, so I got the ginger potted up and fertilized. And so now I'm going to get some hydroponic leaf vegetables going. Now, this idea comes from Mike Van Doozy at, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of his channel, Growing with Mike Van Doozy. Okay, he does the KRATKY Method, or KRATKY Method of hydroponics. And so I did his method of growing starter plants. And so now we're going to start transplanting my starter plants, also known as microgreens, into a gutter system, and I will take you along on the journey. So come grow with me. So these are the little microgreens, and I will be taking the larger ones and transplanting. They're so soft. This is lettuce and this is kale. So I've got microgreens for my salads this week and soups if I want it, and also I'm going to be transplanting them into a gutter method or gutter KRATKY Method hydroponic system. So I made these last year and we're going to set them up again, and I'll take you with me. All right, so in this method, in the KRATKY Method, there is no circulating water. The water is kept at a level of just touching the root system, and we use nutrients in the water. And the whole idea behind it is it's a water conservation method. It's used with no electricity, and so it's really good, especially for people who are, well, I mean, even third world countries can use this method in a lack of water situation because they only use the water that is in the system. You can use the KRATKY Method in mason jars and in jugs. I'd like for you to go over to Mike Van Doozy's channel. He does a great presentation of the KRATKY Method and inexpensive ways to grow your own food. He's even done tomatoes, beets. I'm not sure what, I think he's done some cucumbers in 5-gallon buckets. And he's even made a grow tower out of 5-gallon buckets with the KRATKY Method. He's done one that has circulating water, or I should say circulating air, to bubble the water. But with the KRATKY Method, you have a level of water up to a certain point, then you have the air, and then you have the plant. He also doesn't use a lot of the clay pellets and the baskets and the cocoa core blocks, the rock wool. He doesn't, I mean, he does use some of it, but mostly all he uses that you can get at the dollar store is a pool noodle. Or you can get pipe insulation if you don't have pool noodles. I think pool noodles are pretty much sold everywhere now. I don't know. But this is definitely the time of the year that Dollar Tree and Dollar General and places like that, even Lowe's, are putting out the pool noodles. So basically what he does is you take your pool noodle. Now this is some I did last year. Some trash in there. And it's not gonna really hurt if there's a little bit of soil in there. But basically what you do, and these really are not big enough, so I'm going to use, this one is, because you want your seedling to be able to fit in here. So what you're doing is you're putting your seedling, you cut your pool noodle, and then you cut it, and then you cut a section out of a pool noodle, and you put your seedling in between there, and it holds it snug, and then you squeeze it into the opening in the gutter. So that's what holds everything into place. But I'm going to redo this because these pool noodles were a little bit small. I drilled some holes. I think these are actually 2-inch. I used a hole saw and attached it to my drill. And some trash in there. There. And these, anyway, 2-inch hole saw. So I went and got a bigger pool noodle, and you just have to cut about 1 inch. Of the pool noodle. And you can see it's actually bigger. So what you want to do is cut a section out, and then you can squeeze it together so it fits snugly in there. Oop. I have to cut some more out of it. That's okay. But you just, it's definitely a learning curve. And you just get it nice and snug in there. I'm going to cut a little bit more. And it just squeezes and holds right in there. So we're going to put this in here, and it's going to hold it nice and snug. So I did grow the microgreens in a takeout container. This is my kale, and I did it on the 18th of February. And I did a wicking method. I poured the bottom container some water, and then you can see, let me see if I can get this. You can see it. You can see all the roots in there. This is actually a paper towel. I just took and melted a line here and a line here and put a paper towel through here to use as wicking. Then the paper towel goes on top with a little bit of soil, and then you sprinkle your seeds. You sprinkle your seeds on the paper towel, and then you put the soil, just a very thin layer of soil on top of the seeds. All right, these wasps are driving me crazy. But this is continuous wicking. It's really nice. I'm gonna cut some more of these. What's nice about this is you can do a lot of plants and these pool noodles without much cost. I got this at a store last season called Dirt Cheap. It says $3.99, so it was actually probably half of that. And you can get them at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, I think they're $1, $1.25, something like that. And I'm just cutting it. You can use scissors. I prefer to use a razor knife, but I can't find mine. So I'm going to do this. I'm trying to keep my grandkids. I have a grandson who's 6. And he has been, every time he comes over, he wants to get my pool noodle. And I was using it. I bought it to use for something else. I hook it or attach it to my faucet and then put this end in a 5-gallon bucket to fill up my water. And so it was in there in my kitchen. Again, this is just, you know, trial and error. You just kind of have to see what fits and what doesn't in your holes. And when you're cutting holes in this gutter, I find that if you start it and then turn it in reverse, it does go easier. Where it doesn't catch. A lot of times it'll catch. All right, so I'm gonna carefully get some of these bigger plants here. And you just very gently hold them up. And you're gonna see their roots. And you can wash the soil off or you can leave it there, it really doesn't matter. You're gonna put about 3 or 4 of these little microgreens. And this, I'm gonna put them up against here, put them on the stem because you want your roots underneath. And then you're just gonna put that little plug back in there to hold them steady, or keep them in there. And then, oh, I got that one a little bit too big, I think. I don't want to choke them. And then you're going to squeeze it and carefully work it. I have to trim that. There, I got a smaller one. And it fits right down in there, just like so. Oops. And we just repeat the process. 3 or 4 of these little plants, preferably with the roots intact, not like me. Now when you're growing these microgreens, you're gonna see these little furry things come up on the roots. Those are just part of the aeration of the roots, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, just put that in there kind of snug. Watch your roots and push into the hole. If you do happen to destroy some of the roots, it's not really that bad. You can always just trim the roots off and eat them as microgreens. And the wind's gonna blow. Before I put that last one in, I'm going to mix up my nutrient solution. All right, so the blend that Mike Van Doozy recommends is called Master Blend. And I have the label, I don't have the bag. And it comes with 3 different items if you order it. It is made for hydroponics, or it works well with hydroponics. Master Blend is a 4-18-38 formula. NPK, that is, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And he tells you how to mix it. but it also comes with calcium nitrate and also Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate. So it takes, I have them labeled too, it says first, because you mix the calcium nitrate, I think, in last. So I have a scale, and I'm going to zero out the tare weight. There we go. And I have it on grams. So this one is 12 grams. And there's 12 grams. And then I'm going to tare it again to zero. This Epsom salt you mix second, and it's 6 grams. Now, oops, got a little bit too much. There we go. This makes 5 gallons. So what I'm going to do, I need to find a 5-gallon bucket that has no holes in it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just found a bucket and I got rainwater out of my rain barrels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this in to the bucket and mix it in with a little bit of water. And now we're going to measure out 6 grams, or 12 grams, I'm sorry, of the calcium nitrate. And that's right at 13 grams. So take a little bit away. There's 12. Okay. I'm going to mix that in. Now, you don't have to use rainwater. You can use your tap water. It's just tap water has chlorine and fluoride and all those things in it. You can actually take 5 gallons of tap water out of your water hose and just let it sit probably for about 24 to 48 hours uncovered. And most of everything, all of the chemicals hopefully will dissipate out of it. But if you let it sit, it will allow some of the chemicals to come out of it. I'm sure not all of them will. You can even send it through a filtration system. I have a Pro 1, I think, Pro 1 water filtration system, a gravity fed water filtration that holds like 2.5 gallons. And so I could put it through there in case of an emergency. Like I said, we catch rainwater. We catch rainwater for gardening, but also in emergency. I have a huge rain barrel. I think it's like 50 gallons or so. And then I have 2 trash cans. Of course, this is all roof runoff. It's not even going through a gutter system. It's just direct roof runoff. So if we were going to have to use it for drinking water, of course I would boil it, filter it through one filter to get the sediment out, and then filter it through my gravity fed if I had to drink it. So we keep about, I don't know, 120 gallons on hand. And then I have water storage inside. But getting off that subject, getting back to gardening. So what we're going to do is we're going to further dilute this down to equal 5 gallons. Let me just spill a bunch of that. You can see, I don't look at everything messy, but you can kind of see my water over here. And this is the trash cans, and I just dip it in there. I keep it covered when it's not raining. And yes, they are in black containers. Black prevents algae growth, so I don't have to fight algae so much. Yes, trash gets in it. I don't really worry about it because, like I said, I mostly use it for gardening. But we do have it in case we needed it for survival. You know, I need something to stir this up with. I've got this little bitty spoon. I guess it's okay. Everything kind of stirred up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this over here. I'm going to go get one of my smaller watering cans. These are great. These are a Dollar Tree. They're not as small as I like, but I do have a smaller one that I think I even got it at Dollar Tree a few years ago. All right, so let's fix up one more of these, and then I'll take you with me to do this. All right, so I'm gonna dip my water pitcher in there. It worked better if I had a smaller one, but that's okay. I'm not getting any in there. Who am I kidding? I'll just pour it. And you'll see why I left one out. So I have this really annoying wall on my patio that my mother thought was a fantastic architectural beauty. So I utilize it. I have ledge planters. I will be taking the wall down eventually, I think, because I'm not wild about it. But anyway, the reason I left one hole undone is so I can pour this in there. And you just pour it until you see it needs to be about an inch or so below the top. It's going to take about a half a gallon. If it starts coming out the end, you got enough. And that one was starting to come out the end. So that's a little bit more. You want the roots in there for sure. Uh-oh, it is coming out the side. Okay. All right. And then I put my last plant in there. Oh, it went straight through. Okay. That's okay. I pushed a little too hard. Right there. I could have put more holes in here, and I kind of wish I had, but this is what I've got now to work with, so this is what I'm going to work with. You know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, but that pool noodle is not natural. Well, you know something? It doesn't really matter, because if you're hungry, what is it going to matter, right? And this is an easy, inexpensive way to have hydroponics. I mean, I think it was a 12-foot section of gutter for maybe $12. I think. I don't remember exactly, to be honest. Okay, so that was our kale. So now we're gonna do some lettuce. Now, in the spring, in the south, lettuce is great. But if you're going to grow it in the summer, it's got to be in a shade, or you can transfer it back over to pots and bring it indoors, because lettuce is a cool weather crop and it does not like our hot summers. Alright, so I'm going to go for some of these in the center here, I think. Or no, I'm going to pull them from the edge. And again, you want to put 3 or 4 in there. I might need some from the center, because those roots are kind of, oh well, they're all about the same. You can actually, with lettuce, you can put more than 3 or 4. I'm just going to put a few, and then I can thin later. Now, you also may be thinking, okay, so I don't eat a lot of lettuce. I don't eat a lot of kale. But the thing is I have chickens, and what I don't eat, they will. Now, the nice thing about the gutters is they've come a long way, and some innovative people have actually made some end caps, so you no longer have to put the, or melt that end. So I'm going to be looking into some of those end caps and doing some more of these. Now, Mike Van Doozy lives in Florida, and he grows these greens year round. He just keeps them like in shade. And he also sets up like little ladder systems for his gutters. So anyway, that's how you do that. And I have some microgreens I can eat. Yummy. Yum. And I'm going to be doing some more of these. So have a great day, and remember, grow what you eat and be the change, and be grateful for what you have, but do something.